Welcome to Hilary Emmanuel Ministries, where faith meets power, purity and prosperity, and breakthroughs are born. At Diadem, we equip you with bold prayers, life-transforming teachings, and spiritual strategies to overcome every challenge life throws your way. Join us as we dive into God's Word, experience His presence like never before, and walk in His purpose for our lives. If you're in London, we invite you to fellowship with us in person at Diadem, 4 Pegamoy Road, N18 2NG. Don't forget to subscribe now and let's grow in faith together.
Brethren, we are in today for some very serious prayers. We are going to see a combination of both deliverance, warfare, and everything. We are in a battle. That one, no person can deny that. We are in a war for our lives. We are in a battle for our destinies. And this battle, there is a dynamics to it. There is a way the battle goes. And it's not just a straightforward battle. It's not a straightforward battle. It's a very complex battle. And you must know one thing with this nature of battle, that you just have to persist. You have to continue until you get what you are looking for. And it's not a sprint battle. It's not a battle you just start now and then it comes to an end immediately. It's a marathon. It's an endurance battle. And because it's an endurance battle, it takes time. And when it lingers like that and drags on like that, that's where you begin to know those who have the power, the ability, and those who don't have the ability. Because a lot of people will drop out on the wayside. A lot of people will just stop and say, no, I can't go on anymore. If you look at freedom fighters who have fought for different kinds of freedom, who have made changes, they didn't just start that same day and they got their freedom that same day. It doesn't happen that way. Because the power holding any person, holding any human being, the enemy, they don't let go easily. You have to convince the enemy, either by battle, by war, by any means, that they must surely let you go or they will not have peace. If you don't have such tenacity, there's no how you can get freedom. If you look in different places, whether they be the rights, different rights that people have fought for, right to vote, right of women, right of this and right, different kinds of rights. They didn't just get those rights just by a snap of finger this way, no. It took real battle. And that's why you see, when you see communities, when you see a people that are not persistent in anything, they don't endure for too long. Look at the issue dominating the present social landscape and political landscape of the whole earth now. The Black Lives Matters and so on. You see how long those people have been coming out on the street. Many of them have been arrested, a lot have been wounded, some have even been killed, and they keep coming, they keep pushing. And the more they push, the more they gain territories. The more you push, the more you gain territories. The more your enemies succumb, the more your enemies, if you put leg, your enemy put leg, you push hard, the enemy will remove leg, you take over that position. That is how to get freedom. And if you don't know that tactics, if you don't have that level of stubbornness, people will just assume that, well, don't worry, they will soon be tired. Don't worry, they will soon give up. They can't endure for too long. If the enemies are able to judge you like that, then there's trouble. Then forget about freedom. Another thing again is that in this battle we are fighting, the enemies have so many tested strategies. Strategies they've tested on different human beings, on different generations, on different people over the years. And some of them have proven over and over to be very successful. And so they will deploy those strategies. And one of the strategies that I don't like at all, that the enemies always use, is the strategy of disabling their opponents. If they disable the opponent so that the opponent is not in a position to fight at all again, it's a terrible position to be in, brethren. What I mean is this. It's just like two boxers going into the ring to fight. And then they now use the other boxer and tie the hands backward. You have dressed up, you've put on your gloves, you are ready, you've trained all your life, and you are ready to fight this battle, and you get to the day thing, and maybe the referee or the coach of the other party just come up with the handcuff, pull your hand to the back, and put handcuff and just handcuff and say, now they ring the bell and say start. You say that one that is handcuff has no chance, because where is the hand that is going to use to fight? That's exactly how the enemies are fighting some people. They handcuff them, they disable their hands, they disable their ability to fight back, and they are just there in the ring receiving blows, receiving deadly blows, and they cannot fight back. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. Somebody that has real battle to fight, destiny battle, foundational battles to fight, and that the enemies now program confusion into the life of that person. Confusion, the person is so confused, or they program restlessness. The person cannot sit down and focus on one thing for too long. The person is always confused. You see the person go to this church today, he will hear, that pastor, all the pastors are his pastor and her pastor. He will run to this place today, and they will tell you, don't worry, if you go there, they just wave hand over your face and all your problem will disappear. He will run to that place, and then they wave hand, nothing disappear. He will run again to another place. So with that level of confusion, that person is not in a position to fight any battle. He's not in a position to fight any battle. Some other time, what the enemies do is to disable the eyes and the ears, so that the person cannot see any dream, cannot see any vision, cannot understand anything, cannot hear the voice of the Holy Spirit, cannot get any message from heaven. Not they lock up everything, and the person is just there standing. Even when danger is lurking beside the person, cannot see, cannot hear anything. Even when the enemies are doing what they are doing, cannot see, cannot understand anything. That is a terrible position to fight spiritual warfare. The worst one is when the enemies tamper with the mind and the brain. When they tamper with the mind and the brain, and the person now begin to manifest some symptoms of mental health problem. The person is not totally mad, not completely mad, but the person too is not well. It's not well at all. And when the enemies tamper with the mind and they tamper with the brain, that's the end. The battle is already finished. Because where are you going to fight from? The battle is finished, it's decided already. So these are the different things. There are different strategies over the years Satan and his people have developed, and they have tested them over and over on different group of people everywhere, and they have prospered so heavily. What of the weapon of ignorance, whereby they attack people with ignorance? They don't know their left and their right. They think they are right, but they are foolish. They had used all kinds of weapons, but the one we are dealing with today, brethren, the one we are going to fight against today, is what I call spiritual impotency. Spiritual impotency. And that's why I'm talking to you on what I call freeing yourself. That's why I talked about freedom. Because freedom doesn't come easy. It doesn't come cheap. How do you free yourself from spiritual impotency? That's what we are looking at today. Freedom is very expensive. Freedom sometimes costs lives. Humanity is born into captivity. And so for you to start, I'm talking of physical freedom now, social freedom, political freedom, financial freedom, not now to talk about spiritual freedom, which is the strongest. Because then you are no longer contending with human establishment and human system. You are now contending with spiritual organizations, spiritual powers. And to convince them, to fight them to a standstill whereby they will now grant you your freedom, then you know it's not a joke. Freedom. You know, it reminds me sometimes ago when there was this period of political unrest then in Nigeria. And people were protesting during Abiola time. People were protesting and fighting and rioting everywhere. And one was looking and saying, let's see how far they can go. Let's see whether they can sustain this protest, this rioting. Whether they can achieve their results through it. Let's be watching and see how far this will go. I remember one time I was out in a Yaba area. I went to Yaba area, and I was around the market, and the rioters, they were coming this way. And I was just standing and watching them. And one of them was telling the other one, he said, I'm going home, I'm tired. Bottle has hurt me on my leg. I can't go again. So you now see that with such, that one is already taken out of that fight battle. So if the enemies know that they can use little things to hurt you and totally remove you from the battle for freedom, they will do it. And one of the most deadly one is this weapon of spiritual impotency. Spiritual impotency. And sometimes spiritual impotency cooperate in the family. It cooperates in the family. The father is spiritually impotent. Grandfather was spiritually impotent. Great grandfather was spiritually impotent. Every person in the lineage, it becomes what you call a pattern. It becomes what you call a generational impotency. And no person in the family will be able to challenge it. Every person will just put their head in the same level. No person will rise up and say, no, I'm not going to be like this. I refuse to be like my father. I refuse to end up like my grandfather. The impotency is defined as lacking in power when you don't have power. And you know you need power to fight for your freedom. You need real power to fight for your freedom. So for somebody to be lacking in power, lacking in strength, lacking in vigor, and there are a lot of people that lack, Christians, I'm talking of believers now, that lack power, that lack spiritual strength and vigor. If you want to know, put Christians into prayer. Put Christians into prayer. Organize a prayer program. Tell them to close their eyes and pray first of all for 2 hours as opening prayers. And then you now start real prayers. By the time you even pray for 1 hour, they've opened their eyes. Many Christians cannot close their eyes for 1 hour. Many Christians cannot focus in the spirit and focus their brain and their mind and fight battle for 1 full hour without distracting. So you now see that where such a thing is operating, there's already impotency in operation. And impotency is defined also as being helpless. Being helpless. Being helpless. You know, it's like that scripture where the Lord said he has broken the arm of Pharaoh, king of Egypt. He said that the arm cannot hold the sword to fight again. And he will now put a sword in the hand of the king of Babylon. He said that Pharaoh will now look at the enemy in the face and be groaning with the groan of a deadly wounded man. Why? Because he knows he can fight that battle, but the hands are broken. That if it is man to man, that the king of Babylon cannot fight him. But now the hands are, he's helpless. So I'm just creating a scenario for you to understand this message. When somebody is faced with situations, you are faced with problems in life that you are totally helpless. You're supposed to do something. You should fight it. But you are totally helpless. Your hands, you don't have the means. And it's paining you that you are not able to deal with that situation. You are not able to solve that problem. So when we are talking about spiritual impotency or generational impotency, we are actually referring to the spiritual inability, spiritual helplessness that persists in the life of a man, in the life of a woman, in the face of a problem, in the face of a situation. Helplessness. And you know why are we talking about this now? Because we are in a very serious program. We are praying for 40 days and we are presenting our problems before the Lord. This program is going on online. I can't see you, but you can see me on camera. I don't know what exactly you are doing at home during the prayers. I don't know, maybe when I'm preaching, that's when you go about doing whatever you want to do. You are busy on your phone, you are busy on your computer and all kinds of things. I don't know what's going on there. I don't know what you are doing. Maybe you even put the phone somewhere else, and then when we finish the prayer, you type amen, and that's it. Those are marks of spiritual impotency. If you are not able to focus on what matters most in your life and fight it at that point, that thing needs your attention. Spiritual impotency, if the enemy attacks anyone with it, that person is already removed from the war. That person is already disabled from the battle. The battle is already decided. So what we are dealing with today is to be able to position you so that when you are dealing with the problems of your life, you are fighting the battles of your life, you know what exactly you are doing. You are not deceiving yourself. Look at John chapter 5. John chapter 5, look at verse 1. John chapter 5, verse 1. I'm talking about freeing yourself from spiritual impotency. John chapter 5, verse 1. After this, there was a feast of the Jews, and Jesus went up to Jerusalem. Now, there is at Jerusalem by the sheep market a pool, which is called in the Hebrew tongue Bethesda, having 5 porches. In this lay a great multitude of impotent folk, I don't know why the Bible used this language to describe them. Impotent folk. If you read the whole scripture, read the whole synoptic gospel, the whole New Testament, you will never see where they use this language to describe any person that has a problem. All different people came with the Lord with different kinds of problem. Different people brought people to the meetings of the Lord and got their miracle. But these were the only group of people that the Bible describes as impotent. And there's a reason for it. There's a reason for it. So he said they lay multitude. There were so many. And they were lying there as blind. There were a lot of blind people that the Lord healed. They didn't describe them as impotent. Halt, withered. There were a lot of paralyzed people that the Lord healed. They didn't describe them as impotent. Waiting for the moving of the water. They were waiting. That's where impotency starts. You wait for everything. Wait for a man of God to fight your battle for you. Wait for a pastor. Some people will even pay pastor. Say, pastor, take this money and fight my battle for me. I trust those pastors. They will just collect your money and eat it. Because they have not even finished fighting their own battle. Not talk of leaving their own alone to come and fight your own. So you now see that, he said that they laid it for how long? Who knows how many years they have been waiting in that place. And they are relaxed there. They are not in a hurry. They just relax. And why they waiting verse 4? For an angel went down at a certain season into the pool. Seasoner. So what they are depending on is chance. So he went there to a certain season to the pool and troubled the water. Whosoever then first after the troubling of the water stepped in was made whole of whatever disease he had. Only one person healed in a season. One person will be healed in a whole season. So after the troubling of the water, so if the angel came midnight and troubled the water and all of them are asleep, that's the end. So after the seasonal, just occasionally it happens and they don't know when it will happen. Verse 5. And a certain man was there which had an infirmity 30 and 80 years. Do you see how long they stayed there? 38 years. 38 years. He has been hanging around that pool and he has not received his miracle yet. He has not been delivered yet. 38 years. When Jesus saw him lying down, he was lying down there, and knew that he had been now a long time in that case. Jesus now was drawn to him by sympathy. Say, will you ever be made whole the way you are going now? Do you think you can be delivered? Do you think you are going to be free from what you are going? Is this the way you are solving this problem? The way you are going, brethren, do you know there's a way you approach your problem? You yourself know that you are not expecting solution. There's a way you deal with your problem, the way you approach it. You yourself know that, well, I'm just waiting for chance and opportunity. Maybe if you know, if it doesn't happen, oh, I've tried. That's what the Lord is asking him. The way you are 38 years there now, do you think you are going to be delivered with this method you are using? The impotent man. I don't know why the Bible used this language to describe. The impotent man answered him. Why does the Bible call him impotent? You remember the definition of impotency? No strength, helpless, no power, no vigor, no energy, nothing. Totally lying there waiting for chance and opportunity and fate. He said, I have no man. So he's depending on people. He's waiting for people to come and fight his battle. Do you know there are people like that? Waiting for people to come and join you in prayer before you fight your battle. Waiting for people to come and form prayer group with you before you fight your battle. He said, I have no man. Brethren, if you wait for any person to join you to fight your battle, then you will wait forever. I have no, because your battle is not the same type with the people we are waiting for. They are busy fighting their own. He said, I have no man. That's his excuse. When the water is troubled, to put me into the pool, but while he's coming, you know, come to church now. I will come, I'm coming. While I'm coming, because every person is not like you. Every person is not like you. Some people are very serious-minded. They are serious-minded with what they do. You see, while I'm still maybe coming majestically, maybe coming with pride, while I'm coming so that they will beg him. They will beg him. They have to go and look for a car to rent and then send a cab to go and pick him at home. While I'm coming, I'm still coming. Is it that where do you say that your church is again? I'm coming. While I'm coming, another stepping down before me. Of course, what do you think before? Jesus said unto him, rise up, take up thy bed and walk. Stand up. And immediately the man was made whole and took up his bed and walked. And on the same day was the Sabbath. The Jews therefore said unto him that was cured, It is the Sabbath day. It is not lawful for thee to carry thy bed. Aha. So they are enemies of his deliverance. You see, the battle, they might not be the one, listen carefully, they might not be the one that put him in that condition, but their role is to make sure he doesn't come out of that condition. People that put the problem on him might be different. People that are enjoying seeing him in that position, they are also different. They don't want you to come out of that impotency level. So they now say, no, it is not right for you. You can't carry your bed and walk. On the same, you can't do this. It's Sabbath day. It's not lawful. Verse 11, he answered them, He that made me whole, the same said unto me, Take up thy bed and walk. Then asked they him, What man is it that which said unto thee, Take up thy bed and walk, and was healed, did not know who it was, didn't even know Jesus. And you cannot fight any battle in life without Jesus. You can't fight the battle. You can't be free, because the Bible says, if the Son of God shall make you free, you shall be free indeed. He's the only one that can give you true freedom. So you can't be free from anything in life, from any situation or problem in life without Jesus. So they say, who is that? He doesn't even know Jesus. Because Jesus has conveyed himself away. A multitude being in that place. Can you imagine? A multitude was following Jesus. And those impotent folk, they didn't understand what it's all about. They didn't know what it's all about. Impotent folk. They are there, multitudes are following Jesus, and everyone is receiving their miracle, but they are there, they don't know what is going on, and they don't even care to find out. Do you know that an impotent man, an impotent woman can be in a place and revival will be going on around them? The power of God will be moving around them, close to their house, right at their reach, but they will not hear it, they will not know it, they will not tap into it, they will not be part of it. The Lord will be moving around them, but they will not know. So he did not know who Jesus was. And afterward, verse 14, afterward, Jesus findeth him in the temple and said unto him, Behold, thou art made whole, sin no more. So sin is another factor. Sin no more, lest the worst thing come unto thee. The man departed and told the Jews that it was Jesus which had made him whole. There were people in that same pool that were in worse condition possibly than this man. And they have struggled, even in their condition. And some of them have stepped into the water, into the pool, and they have received their healing. But this man, where spiritual impotency is operating, and it doesn't even apply to the house of God alone. It applies even to the worship of Satan, those who worship Satan, those who worship idols, those who are into traditional things. It even applies there too. Because there also, when your forefathers and your ancestors, when they practiced their own religion those days, and they served Satan and served all kinds of idols, you see that there were some people that excelled in that religion. There were some people that prospered in that serving of Satan. But why didn't your own ancestor prosper? It's the same spiritual impotency. That even in serving idol, they didn't prosper there too. They didn't achieve anything there too. They were still helpless under that one too. And now also it has transferred to their children. And their children are now born again. They go to church. The same spiritual impotency is still following the children till now. In the time of those days when people practiced serious witchcraft, there were people that did witchcraft and they became billionaires and they prospered heavily with it and became prominent and even got 3 positions. But your own ancestors, they practiced their own witchcraft and they didn't get anything out of it. They didn't get anything. They did all the witchcraft, they did kill all their children, destroy all their family, and they didn't benefit anything from it. Nothing to show for it. And that same spiritual impotency is following the children also now. Practicing Christianity, a religion of power, practicing everything, being born again, which is wonderful, and yet they remain spiritually impotent. No, the enemy will program this impotency, this problem into the life of people, so that every other problem they put in the life of that person, the person will be incapable of fighting the battle. The person will not be able to face the situation. The person will not be able to remove such problem from their lives. And do you know, there's nothing wrong with being impotent. Nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with being helpless before a problem. We are human beings. We have our limitations. There are things we have power to do, especially things in the spirit realm. We are completely helpless about those things. things in the spirit realm, because we live with more than 70% in the flesh. More than 70% of our activities are in the flesh, very few in the spirit realm. And as such, problems that have their root in the spiritual realm, we are totally helpless somehow. So there's nothing wrong. But what is wrong is your inability to fight to destroy that impotency. What is wrong is you're waiting at that pool forever and ever. You're staying at that pool, waiting for the angel to trouble the water, waiting that any other person will not jump in and will leave it for only you to jump in. So you see that what was their major problem was that they were not making any effort. No effort. You even try self. There was this message I preached to you before. There was this prayer we prayed before, that it is better to die standing than to live on your knees. You just fight. You even try. And you can see that the Bible looked at their condition, all of them that are around that pool, and he used this language. He said they are impotent folk. Impotent folk. There's no other place they use such language for anyone in the scripture, because they were not making any effort. They were not seeking for solutions. If Jesus did not come to that pool, if Jesus did not pass by that place and pick that man out and help him, possibly that man would have died in that condition there. And do you know that's the same thing? Why didn't the man even go into the temple? Instead of staying in that, okay, you don't know when the angel is coming to trouble it. Let me go into the temple and be crying to God. And go into the temple and be crying every day there. All those 38 years they spend in that place, why not spend that one in prayers? Why not spend it crying to God? Every morning you pray 1 hour for 38 years. God will answer that prayers. Why not make effort? Why not fight the battle? Even if it is so tiny, so minute. And if Jesus didn't come there, they would have remained there for the rest of their lives. So what made them impotent? Why Bible describes them as impotent folk is that they just gathered their heads together and sat down there. Do you know, if you are not careful, you might find yourself also in the midst of impotent folk. And before long, you get acclimatized and get used to it and become one with them and begin to reason and think in the same direction with them and say, no problem, just wait, it will happen, no problem. And you just sit there from year to year. You know, looking at that man and looking at other people with similar problem in the scriptures, you will see a sharp difference. You will see a contrast, because the man just went and relaxed near the pool and joined possibly what you might call an association of impotent folks. But look at another person again that had problem, because all human beings have problems. It might not be the same type, but they are all still problems. Mark chapter 10, look at verse 46. This is another person with a serious problem, with a different nature of problem. Mark chapter 10, verse 46. And they came to Jericho. And as he went out of Jericho with his disciples, a great number of people. Now take note of this. The other side, at the pool side, the Bible says multitude were there. But do you see that those multitude that were following Jesus didn't even attract the attention of that impotent man? He didn't even try to fight and say, what are this multitude? There's no multitude like this before here. What is happening? Even to ask questions, say, what is going on, please? Who is that person every person is following? Who is that person? What does he do? No effort, no question. Just sat there until the Lord went to him. But look at this one. Great number of people. Then there was somebody called Bartimaeus. He was blind. That's a serious problem. At least that impotent man was not blind. He could still see with his eyes. But this one didn't even know what was going on. He didn't even see Jesus. He didn't even see the crowd, but he knew that he could feel the presence of so many people around him suddenly. So the son of Timaeus, he sat by the highway side begging. So his situation, his problem has reduced him to a beggar. That's the only profession he could do. That's the only thing he could do to survive, to feed himself. So he has become a beggar and he sits on the highway side. Verse 47. And when he only had, he didn't see anything. He only heard that it was Jesus of Nazareth. Now you see the difference. Why the Bible use that language to say impotent folk, impotent man? Do you know that even when Jesus told that man, say, carry your bed and stand up and go, the man didn't care to say, sir, who are you, sir? What's your name, sir? So that I can come and thank you. And say, thank you. He did not even bother. It was when his enemies challenged him. That's when he now went about saying, who was even that man that healed me? Do you see why they say he's an impotent man? He didn't bother to even ask him, say, who are you, please? No wonder, because his life is not even straight. The Lord told him, if you don't stop committing sin, worse things will happen to you. So this blind Bartimaeus, he only heard that it was Jesus passing by. And then what did he do? He began to cry out. Is that not effort, brethren? That's what we are talking about. That's why you see, even though his own problem was even worse than that impotent man, the Bible didn't use impotent for him. The Bible didn't describe him as an impotent man. Because he was helpless in his problem, yeah, sure. But he was not allowing it to weigh him down. At least he could, the blindness was his eyes. He didn't hold his mouth. So he was using the mouth to cry out and say, Jesus, thou son of David, have mercy on me. That's just the only prayer point. The only prayer point. Assuming all of them, take note of this, brethren. Take note of this. Assuming all of the multitude, that pool, assuming all of them, when they saw Jesus, and all of them started it at once, the same prayer point here, and said, Jesus, thou son of David, have mercy on us. Do you think Jesus will pass the place and leave them alone? No. Jesus will have healed all of them and emptied them and emptied that poolside, and all of them will have gone home to become useful for themselves. But do you know that that impotent man, Jesus healed him. The rest were there watching like this. The rest didn't even say, Lord, what of me? Help me, please. I'm also in trouble. I cannot walk also. I have this problem also. They all kept quiet. They were watching. That's why they call them impotent people. You see, impotency will cripple the person's brain, cripple the mind, cripple the reasoning, cripple the capability to do anything, even the mouth. That's why you see people will come to the place of prayer, they will be sleeping. I told you I don't see you now. You say, good for those of you that specialize in sleeping during prayers. Now, no pastor to trouble you, no pastor to tell you wake up, no person is watching you. So when you sleep, you snore as you like. Glory be to God. It's just you are demonstrating the impotency. That's all. So you can see the difference here. He started to pray that one prayer point. Have mercy on me. Verse 48. And many people charged him that he should hold. Listen, the impotent man had an enemy that said you cannot be healed on Sabbath day. This one too also had an enemy that said you can never be healed. What do you want to do? To come out of this place? You don't want to stay at the road highway side again? No way, it will not happen here. There are enemies that will challenge your freedom. Satan will not just let you go like that ordinary. No, he doesn't open the door of his prisoners. He doesn't let people go freely like that. So there are definitely foundational enemies, human beings, demonic powers that will say, no, you are not going to be free. So immediately this man started to shout. They charged him. They forbid him. They rebuked him. They shut him up. They said, keep quiet. You cannot be healed. You cannot come out of this trouble. So there are powers that are there to struggle with you. And that's where the warfare comes in, brethren. Look at what he did. They told him to hold his peace. Keep quiet. But the Bible says, but he cried the more a great deal. Do you know why he's not an impotent man? Because when they try to silence, listen, the enemies are not going to come physically and say, stop praying. They will tighten your problem. They will make condition worse for you. They will discourage you. They will bring all kinds of attack on you to shut you so that you stop praying. So that you hate prayer, you hate talking to God. They will bring all those things to silence you, to shut you up. But look at what he did. He cried a more great deal. Thou son of David, have mercy on me. That's a prayer point. And the voice, listen to me, for you to see people that are determined, freedom fighters that want to fight for their deliverance. The voice was so strong. The voice was so loud. The voice was so powerful that the voice was able to overshadow the whole noise of the whole multitude. And the Lord Jesus Christ had that voice. Verse 49. And Jesus stood still and commanded him to be called. He said, call that man. And they called the blind man, saying unto him, you see, they said the blind man, they didn't say impotent man, because he has done something now. He has made effort. And the effort is paying out already. He said, let's bring him. They said, be of good comfort. They were the people telling him to shut up before. They've now turned around again and said, be of good comfort. Rise, he called thee. And he threw away all the garment, all those things that tied him on the was he used to, he threw everything away. He cast away all the garments and rose up and came to Jesus. And Jesus answered and said unto him, what do you want? Why are you calling me? Why are you shouting towards me? What do you want that I should do for you? The blind man said unto him, Lord, that I might receive my sight. That's all I want. He was specific. He was straight to the point. No beating about the bush. Did you compare this one now with that impotent man? When the Lord asked the impotent man, what do you want? Are you going to be free from what? Hey, you don't know anything. This place? No, I don't have any man. I'm alone. I'm alone. No person to help me. And if you see them like this, as soon as the angel come before I said they don't wait for me to jump in first. Before I come, they jump in. You can see this one. No story, no long talk. Just say, Lord, I need my eyes back. And I know you can help me. I know the power is in your hand. I just want to see. I need my sight. Verse 52. And Jesus said unto him, go thy way. Thy faith has made thee whole. And immediately he received his sight and followed Jesus. You see, he followed Jesus. The other man did not follow Jesus. The other man did not follow Jesus. He followed Jesus. Do you see, have you seen the contrast? Have you seen the difference between the impotent, why the Bible used that language on him, the impotent man? Do you see the difference? Both of them had problems. They might not be the same type of problem, but their situation that they were totally helpless. They had no control over it. They had no control over their situation. They were both helpless before their adversaries. And in fact, the impotent man was even better because that one could see. He could see. But Bartimaeus had to struggle through the crowd and every person stumble and everything to get to the Lord. The impotent man, do you know no person was shutting him up if he had cried to the Lord? No person was shutting him up. But this one, they didn't even want him to get his voice to reach the Lord. So you can see why the Bible called them impotent folk. It's not because of their sickness. It's not because of the problems in their lives. It's because they were totally relaxed in their situations. They were docile. They were not doing anything. They were not doing anything. The least they could do is to cry. In that, around that pool, why didn't they turn into prayer place? And this one will lead prayer and they will shout that prayer for hours. And say, you that angel of the living God that trouble this water, come more often, come every hour, come every minute, come. And the angel, they can use prayer to draw that angel to be troubling that water continually. So that in a day, that angel can come several times and trouble that water. And before long, they will empty that, all of them will be healed and get out of that place. Why didn't they turn it to prayer session? No effort, they just sat there watching. No effort. The least they could do is to at least cry, is to pray. Look at this man, blind man. He said, have mercy on me, thou son of David. And he stubbornly refused to be silenced. He stubbornly listened. Many things will discourage you. Many things will want to weigh you down. Many things will want to silence you. But you have to show rugged stubbornness. To up. You have to refuse. Listen, if you give up, what are you going to do? What exactly are you going to do? The situation, you can't control it. The situation, the problem, you are helpless. There's no other human being that can help you beside the Lord alone. So if you give up, what are you going to do? To go back and sit at the poolside and continue there? Don't determine, brethren, that you are not going to end up like your parents. Determine within you that you will not end up like your grandparents, like your ancestors. Vehemently refuse that whatsoever it is going to take, how long it will take, that you deliberately refuse to go into the group that will be called the impotent folk of London. Refuse it. Resist it. Stand your ground and fight. And brethren, that's exactly what we are going to do now. That's what we are going to do now. So that we first of all break off all those things. Impotency, tying us down, hands and legs, not allowing us to take any action, not allowing us to do what we should do, not allowing us to be active. There are so many things we can do. Look at this type of program we are doing now. Where do you find this nature of prayers and program? Where do you find this kind of opportunity? You can key into it with everything in you. You can pray. You have volumes and volumes of libraries of prayers we have prayed before, dealing with specific issues. And the Lord shall have mercy on us today. Let's close our eyes. Close your eyes. You see what the Lord told that man. He said, don't commit sin again. No. Don't commit sin again. So that worse things will not come to you. Let's begin to tell the Lord now. My God and my Father, every sin in my life, every sin in my family, every sin that I commit, deliberately or ignorantly, that is making me to be in this condition, that is strengthening my problems and my enemies. I am so sorry, Lord. I am truly sorry.
Thank you for watching. If this message blessed you, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to join our growing community of faith. You've just listened to the sermon, but there are powerful prayers that follow. Due to social media rules and guidelines, the prayers have been removed from this video. However, you can access the full prayers and more life-changing resources by visiting www.pastorhillary.org or downloading our app, Diadem Media. If you're in the London area, we'd love to have you fellowship with us in person at 4 Pegamoid Road, N18 2NG. If you have any questions about this message, want counseling from Pastor Hillary, or wish to share your testimonies following the prayers, please leave a comment below and someone from our team will get in touch. Until next time, may God bless you abundantly and guide you in all your ways. Stay victorious.